was in my steering wheel. But all right, I guess that's the angle we're going with. I don't like that angle. Then you're just looking at the seat. Get me. Let me see if I can do better and not drop the camera. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty decent. Yeah, I like that. That's a decent angle. Oh, whew. It has been a day. Look, Mickey back there. Yay! So the box truck is a little bit of a wreck right now. I've been really pushing hard to wrap things up at the storage unit. And right now that's my goal, is to get to the point where I can get out of the storage unit. This is not going to permanently look like this. This is temporary. By the way, you're like, what's that ugly cable that's running through there? This is temporary until I find a better way to run this. Just to have some things working. Woo. You can just see Mickey walking around in the background. It's so cute. So today I finally finished my my battery container box thing, and at this point, if I have to make anything, I only want to make it from scrap. I do not want to buy any new wood. So I've been trying to do anything that I have remaining from the scrap pieces of wood. Oh my gosh, I look terrible. Hi everybody. So the battery box was the last thing I had to construct. So right now what's pending is I need to run my propane lines. I need to redo my plumbing for the permanent setup, and then there's a bunch of little things on a checklist as far as things I want to do, but I'm starting to realize I can do those things after I close out the storage unit. So I'm really focusing on wrapping up with the storage unit, because the thing is, there are things I can do while not having a storage unit, and there are things I can't do because I need the storage unit to store things while I'm doing it. And I'm trying to I thought I would be done last week, so part of me is stressing out because I feel behind schedule. I was hoping I would be able to travel by next week at the latest, and I don't know if that's going to be true, just because there's things I need to wrap up before I can actually leave, because I'm not going to leave with a storage unit. I have to be at the point where I'm out the storage unit, and any little projects I have left, I can just carry the stuff with me and do it wherever. So yeah, I'm just rambling as people log on. I didn't mean to log on this late, even though it looks beautiful today. I've had some terrible, how's it looking on you guys' end? Because some of my live streams, they just look terrible. And I'm trying out a new connection. So let me know how it looks. Is the image clear enough for you? Because I know I've had some bad ones. Oh man, I've just been rambling. Let me actually look at the stream. So we got Cameron, we got James, we got Jocelyn, we got Princess Pamela. What's up? Melody. Okay, Hanne. Is it Hanne from Norway? From Norway. That is so cool. I feel really bad about coming on this late, because I know for some people's time zones this is going to be so terribly late, not going to be able to jump on. We got Jen, we got Corey, we got Paul Sherman, what's up? We got Mary D, we got Sea Otter, yes! one of my most awesome YouTube membership peeps. We got Earl Blackman, thank you Earl for the compliment. Princess Pamela said I was at the Home Depot, missed you. Oh. Cart Gamer, what's up? Eden, Freedom Dove's on, what's up? Freedom Dove's channel, you guys should check it out. Working on her build, and some cool videos are up, so definitely check out Freedom Dove's channel. Granny Peacock, what's up? Earl Blackman, what's up? That's they say you in the stream earlier. Eden, Pierre, Sarah Bells, Judith. Thank you for the reminder to hit the thumbs up button. Yes, let's feed algorithm. Hi Dawn and Mickey. It's perfectly clear. Yay! Image much better than last time. Yay! Kiza says, you are looking cheery tonight. I'm feeling stressed. Like, I thought, like, I would just get more done today than I got done, and I need to stop beating myself up about it. If I've learned anything, when you think it's going to be a simple thing, and I've had tunnel vision, like, I'm ignoring everything except editing videos and wrapping up the storage unit so I can be done with it. And I feel bad about it because there's some things I should pay attention to, but I'm in tunnel vision just to get out this storage unit. Kim says, can't wait to see the truck. MGX Moss. Waves from Ontario, Canada. Eden, thank you for the $3.99 super sticker. It's adorable. I did okay pronouncing your name. Thank you. So as usual, I don't really have a lot. I just like to log on once a week now to make sure I check in with you guys live. So yeah, I'm disappointed because I really thought, oh, I'm there. I'm going to be able to just like move back into the truck and be ready to go. And I'm not quite there the way that I was hoping to be. And also what I realized is, well, I didn't realize it. I was like, I have a choice. I can try to haul a bunch of trash in my truck, or I can hire somebody just to come and pull all the trash from the storage unit. And it's just from building. Like, there's a bunch of scrap wood that's too tiny to use for anything, so it needs to get thrown away. There's like 4 or 5 big bags of trash that's just from unpacking things. It's just a lot. Like, I would have to stuff my house full of trash, and I don't want to stuff my house full of trash and like take it to the dump. I just don't want to do that to my house. So I'm thinking I might have to like hire somebody. I mean, last time I needed something hauled away, which was my minivan seats, I found a guy who hauled them away for like $50. He was like, as long as it fits in the truck, $50. So if I can find somebody like that once I'm done to just come to the storage unit and take away all the scrap, all the cardboard, all the trash bags, all the scrap wood, especially the tiny stuff that's too little to do anything with, it can go. And then there's a bunch of stuff that I just need to get rid of so that I'm not, it's just, it's a good time to purge. So there's some stuff I'm setting aside as either donate, give away. I'm not likely to sell it just because selling takes time, and so oh man. So where's it? Hi Dawn, can you put a link to the solar connector that you use to connect your 2 panels? I'm adding a second panel to my Jackery. Just ordered the second panel. So the Jackery connectors, if you're talking about the parallel cables that you can use with the Jackery 1000 or the Jackery 1500 or the Jackery 2000, they come with the unit. The one that's made for the Jackery 1000 is specific to the Jackery 1000, and the one that's made for the Jackery 1500 and the Jackery 2000 is specific to those 2 units, and they're only designed to work with those units, and they come with the unit. It's not really something that's sold separate by Jackery. Now, hopefully this isn't confusing. I don't know what size Jackery you have. If you really want to parallel to non-Jackery panels, and I'm assuming they're MC4 panels, you can get MC4 pairing cables pair the two panels just like you would normally, and then connect that to an MC4 to 8mm connector. That's probably confusing as heck unless you know your connectors, but that's the way to do it. The 1000 is the first, not only because now you have the 1500 and the 2000, but the 1000 is the first Jackery that was designed to even take enough solar for them to include parallel connector, and so it comes with that unit. And the same thing with the 2000 and the 1500. Unfortunately, it's not something that's really sold separately on Jackery's website. And depending on the controller that's in those devices, it may not be worth it to pair more than one panel to anything smaller than the 1000. Unfortunately. Earl Blackman, since your generator box is on the passenger side, will you be putting a plug on that side like you put it on the driver's side? Nope, I just run an extension cord. And especially because I'm just not going to bother with running it in the box. Which side I put it on depends on how I park. And if I have to run an extension cord across the box, I don't see the point in drilling another hole in my box when the extension cord works fine. Like, if you have an RV, that's what you do. You run an extension cord, even if you have to park and the power connection's on the other side, you just run the long enough extension cord for it. I don't see a reason to have it on both sides. Freedom Dove says, I'm keeping scrap wood until the very end of my build. That's the thing. I'm at the end of stuff I need wood for. So I held on to everything. Like, I did not throw away any wood, and everything I'm using now to finish up is scrap. Like, I refuse to buy wood. I am making everything I have left to do work with scrap, but I'm at the point that the stuff I need to do has nothing to do with wood. Like, I'm willing to let it all go, and I'm not going to put it in the truck at all. I don't have room to carry a bunch of wood, so at some point I have to commit to, I'm done. Whatever's left is left. It either needs to go to somebody else or be thrown away. I mean, like I can't hold on to it. I don't have a garage, and I'm not holding on to a storage unit. So yeah, I did the same thing. Like, I just didn't let any scrap wood go as I was building. The reader says purge as you go. Well, that's what I've done. Like, I know what I want to get rid of. I don't want to put it back in here at all. The stuff I want to purge is not in here. It's in the storage unit, and I don't want to take stuff I know I don't want from the storage unit back into the truck. Like, if I do not have a use for it, I do not want it to come back in here. So that's where I am with that. Right now, the place is a wreck because I was building the battery shelf area. And that's done. Like, as much as I'm going to do to it for right now is done. And that was really the last major wood project. There's a shelf I need to attach, but I already cut it. It's just sitting back there on the floor. I just need to attach it, but it's already cut to the right size. I've test fitted it and everything. It's just not attached. And that's pretty much it as far as, like, things that involve wood. The stuff that I have left have to do with propane, electricity, and plumbing. And really, those parts are small enough that I can just throw them in the truck and deal with it later, because I have a working temporary water system. I have a working temporary propane system. I just don't have everything that needs to be connected to propane hooked up. And I have a working temporary electric setup. It's just terribly messy, and I want to clean it up. And I also didn't label my cords, which, label your freaking cords. Don't do what I did because you're in a rush, because the next thing you know, you got 20 cords and you're like, is this the fan or the water pump? And then you have to go around and test. So I need to go backwards and do that. Do not do what I did. Label it as you go. So when you're at the point, if for some reason you need to go and tweak things, you're not like, I don't know what this cord goes to, and then you have to go around unplugging things and testing things, because the way the wires are running, it's not really direct enough. So yeah, that's kind of where I am with the whole electric situation. Is I just need to go back and do some cleanup, make things a little bit neater. A lot of things I hooked up because I needed them to work, and I needed them to work quickly. Like, I needed a light and I was losing sunlight, or I wanted to make sure I could cook that night, so I just made sure it was hooked up safe enough to cook, or like things like that. And so because I was in a rush a lot of the time, I didn't do a lot of what I should have done. So like one of my big suggestions is for running lines and pre-running lines, just label as you go so you don't have a headache when you have to go back and do it. Mama D's explanation says, hi, you are a true no-lie nomad. Thank you so much. Freedom Dove says, how's the job going? I'm currently not working for the theater. My show ended. That's why, like, every day, all I've been doing is either editing videos or working on the build. And I was like I said, I had tunnel vision. I haven't been touching anything else except that. Jody McFarland says, hi, Dawn. Glad to see you on the live. Cords drive me nuts. Cords or cables? Because those are two different things. Cords are just, things you can plug in and unplug. Cables, it's like I know how to hook things up, but it never ends up neat. No matter my intentions, no matter my planning, it never ends up as neat as I'd like. ISIS1 says, oh, I get it, ISIS. Way to go with all the progress you've made. I've heard all you van builders mention labeling wires. Yeah, all of us mention it and none of us do it. And then we should have done it. So do as I say and not as I did. Where's Mickey? Actually, Mickey is literally right here. He's sitting beside me. There he is. Hanging out. He was back there eating, but he's literally just sitting beside me. The Reader, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, love your kitty cat shelves. People ask him where you are, Mickey. Like, my mom's been crazy today. She's been using a bunch of power tools, and I hate that. I love you, Mickey. What was that light? I don't know. What are you staring at? Huh, buddy? All they care about is you, Mickey. Nobody cares about me. Mickey can't be bothered. Yeah. Oh, man. Whew. All right, now that we've seen the real star of the show, I can't get the thing to sit up. Excuse me while I fiddle with this again to try to get it propped up. Don't move. Stay there. All right. Whew. I'm going to take a sip of my iced tea here. Whew. Kelly B says, I just finished watching the storage box videos, forgot was live tonight. Yeah, I almost didn't make it. I was like, it's getting super late. I don't know how many people are going to log on, but I was like, I said I was going to go live on Wednesday because I wanted to go live at around like 6 or 6:30 because that's usually early enough to accommodate most time zones. But then I was like, no, I need to finish this. And then I was like, oh my gosh, the storage unit is going to close. And then I had to get out of there. Jody McFarland says, Dawn, you were looking great exercising in the fog. The only exercising I've been doing is power tools and lifting wood. My exercise has been the build. Like that. That's the only exercise I've been getting. It's the build. I will say though, there's a part of me over the last 3 years where I did think about pre-built motorhomes and how nice it would be to get something that was pre-built. But having had the chance to build out something myself it is nice to also like have something that's so custom to me. So yes, it is nice just to like go pick up something that already has a bunch of house things. But I'm like, when I look at those layouts, they don't really fit me. And so it's been really nice to create a layout that fits me, that fits Mickey, that works with the things that I want to prioritize. And I haven't really found that in anything that exists that is built. And there is flaws in all, because there's all kinds of flaws in this build. Like these ugly cords I need to clean up behind me. But there's such value in like looking at it and remembering when I used to live in here and it was just a metal shell. Like it was just an aluminum box. With no insulation, with no walls, with no house things. You know, I was sleeping on the floor. Like before I even had a mattress, I was just sleeping on the floor in a sleeping bag. And sometimes when I go back to edit the build videos, especially because I got behind, it's a really good feeling to look and remember, like, I did this. I built this up, you know, from a metal box, and it does feel good. Even though it's frustrating and I kind of want it done enough for me to move forward, there is a good feeling about getting to where I've gotten. Yeah, does that make any sense? I feel like I'm just talking out my butt at this point. I'm adjusting. Can I get this to stay here? Probably not. There we go. Colleen, the cat lady, says, Mickey and Donna, the package deal. Love y'all. Thank you so much. Isis1 says, that counts as strength training and cardio. Freedom Dove says, have you seen the TRX system? I got one. It's very compact and takes the place of weights. I will look that up. I think I've heard of it, but my brain isn't catching up to what it is. So yeah. I'll check it out though. Princess Pamela says, I think the build diet works. The van distracts me from eating. Yes. A lot of times, like, I'll get up in the morning and I'll have breakfast, and that's why I know I can't do any sort of like fasting type thing, because the thing is, like, if I don't eat in the morning, when I finally do get to eat, I'm going to abuse that chance to eat. So I know I'm just not a fasting person. Like, that's not going to work for me. But if I eat breakfast and then I start, like, working on a project, next thing I know, it's, like, almost 8 o'clock. And I honestly have been so into what I'm doing, I haven't touched a bit of food. Except on days when I hang out with Ashley, because we always end up getting lunch. So yeah, but like when I'm just working on something by myself, like I don't allow myself to stop, because I'm like, well, I just want to finish this thing before I stop, and I just want to finish this thing before I stop, and next thing I know, like the whole day's gone. Yeah. Extravagant Minimalist, like, yay, Code Alive! Glad you're here. Hane, I'm going to try to say your name. We named our door Kitty TV because our cat does not go out when it opens. He stops and stares. Yeah, I open the door. Like, I don't leave the door sitting wide open because I'd rather be safe than sorry. But a lot of times I'll open the door and he's just sitting there staring at me like, are you coming in? I'm sitting here. This is where I am. You can join me. Cat Blue says, do you like your new bed setup? I love my bed setup. Like, before I got the BoxTruck, one thing I was really looking at was truck campers. Thank you, loud truck. Just the truck drove by just to be like, yeah, you just talked about trucks, but I was really into truck campers for like maybe like 4 months. Like, I was like researching, I was checking them out, I was trying to figure out the financial feasibility of getting the pickup truck and the truck camper. And as far as like RVs, it was the one, it seems to be the least popular, but it really appealed to me because you did have a removable house. But when the house was attached to the vehicle, and this is unique to truck campers, you could either like live in it like a full motorhome or remove it and then have this truck. And I really like that idea, but also I really liked the cab over bed. Like, I really, really liked that as well. Because it meant all of your floor space was open to do whatever else you want to do with it. And to me, by having that cab over bed, which is why at first I wanted a truck with like a mom's attic over the cab, is for me the most efficient use of space. I also like loft beds. When I was in the van, I would never want a bed that high because it would I spent so much time on the bed. Like, the bed was the primary sitting area. And with this amount of space, what I wanted to make sure is that the bed wasn't taking over the living space to the point where it felt like, you know, I barely had living space again. So I love my loft bed. For me and how I want to use my space, it's been like the most efficient use of space. And I just like having a real mattress, which I have not had. You know, in the minivan, I had a camping cot. And then in the minivan also, I built a platform bed with plywood and it sucked. So I took it apart and went back to a camping cot. When I got the Chevy van, it had a camping cot in it, which was fine. Because that's what I've been sleeping on anyway. And then I built a platform bed, and then there was another platform bed. None of them were even twin size. Like, everything I've slept on up to this point has been smaller than twin size. And now I actually have a twin mattress, which for most people is small, but I feel like I'm in luxury. I'm like, wow, I have an actual full twin mattress. It's not like smaller than a twin, which has been like my history for the last couple. And then of course I slept in the front seat of the car for the longest time. Like, I was not going to pull apart that car because I knew I wasn't committed long term to getting it. Like, once I made a decision, I knew I was going to try to move into a minivan, so I wasn't going to pull out seats or make alterations or any of that. So I just slept in the driver's seat. So I went from sleeping in the driver's seat of a car to sleeping on camping cots or plywood beds that were smaller than twin size, to now having an actual like normal standard size human bed. And even before van life, I spent a lot of time with a twin bed because I didn't really need anything else. I'm like, I'm one person. Why do I need anything bigger than a twin? And so, like, right now, having returned to having an actual mattress alone, even when I was sleeping on the mattress on the floor, like, that was luxury. It was like, oh my gosh, I actually have a mattress like a normal human being. What is this life? Upgrade. Kelly B says, now that it's got wall, ceiling, and finish, it feels like it's been like that for a while. Yeah, for me too. Like I was like, what was the world? And then I start to edit a video and I'm like, whoa, that's how I was living. Like, I used to have the stove set up on a folding table and I had bins. I didn't have actual like storage areas that I could use. But it was just part of the journey, and that's a good thing. Like, once you get there, it's like, it was worth it because I have this now. And I could see it. Like, it was really hard to describe to people because I saw this layout from the beginning. For the most part, there's been some quirky things where I've had to adjust my plan and stuff, but for the moment, the loft bed, I now have my composting toilet actually finished. I actually have a composting toilet now. The sink, I knew what sink I was going to get, like, even before I actually found the truck that I was going to put in, because I had found it at Home Depot, and I was like, I'm getting that sink, I'm getting that sink, I'm getting that sink, and I almost didn't get it because they were started to sell out, or they were going out of, whatever, so I almost didn't even get the sink I got. So I could see it, and it was really hard to describe when other people were seeing metal walls. But now I can't even remember what that was like because now I've adjusted to this being the normal. So yeah. Carly, what's up, You made it. I'm glad you jumped on. Jen, I see you're going to sleep. Hugs back to you, virtual hugs. Mildred says, hello, Dawn from Dallas. I watch your channel all the time. Love your kitty. So sweet. Sherry says, hi, Dawn. Just caught the live again. Barely. LOL. Glad you got to jump in. Freedom Dove says, the bed in my sub overlander will be about 23 by 72. Dang, so you're actually shorter than 2 feet and 72. So you're shorter all around. I think I have an idea of those dimensions. I may have been in that same size range before. Princess Pamela says, I'm doing a twin. More room to move around. Journey 50 says, Dawn, I love your personality and your smile is so beautiful. Thank you. Corley says, I don't think I could sleep in the driver's seat. Done it when exhausted, but even slightly not flat disrupts my sleep. My ex can sleep anywhere. Literally fell asleep sitting up on a concrete floor. I'm probably more like your ex. Like, I can adapt when I need to sleep, but there was a reason. The main reason I got the minivan, because I was like, I want a bed where I can lay flat out. Now, I was fine. Like, I wasn't tortured, but it wasn't comfortable. So it's like, I can probably fall asleep anywhere, but it doesn't mean, like, it's going to be the best sleep I ever had. I can get through the night, you know, but it's not going to be the best. And I just wanted to get vertical. And so that was the blessing of the minivan, was I could put an actual bed in there. But that was about it. After the bed, you're just kind of fitting life around that bed. You're like, okay, I got the bed. Now I got to fit everything else around the structure of this bed, because, you know, once you put in that bed, the bed's kind of the foundation in that space. Kelly B says, you're following the path you wanted to take and didn't rush it. You did it. Thank you so much. Journey 50 says, each stage of your build is coming along great. I look forward to seeing your progress. Thank you so much. Judith says, a loft bed is so cool, but when you get old like me, you can't climb when you are tired. You just fall in bed. Ever thought about a travel trailer? I don't want to tow a trailer. Like, I just don't see me ever wanting to do that. Honestly, you know, this feels big enough. To have something attached as well, I just don't know that I would ever want to do that. I could see me doing another box truck. Like, the box truck has felt like the perfect amount of space, to be honest. I could see me, like, wanting to build a different layout if anything in this layout physically doesn't work for me down the line. But my plan is to be that 80. My plan, because I do plan to get back when exercise box truck build is over. I plan to get back on other exercise. There isn't going to a land of no exercise. It's like, okay, the build is done. You have no excuses. Like, you can see my bike wheel back there, and I have a bike trainer, so I can literally flip my table down and set up my bike trainer and bike in the back of my truck if I need to, in one place, like an exercise bike. And then I can move the bike out the way. It's actually on a hook. I don't know how well. So the bike is like on a hook, vertical, and then I can just take it down and use it. So surprise, that's there. But my hope is I'm like that 80-year, if I live to be 80, because, you know, I could get run off the road and die tomorrow, you never know. But if I live to be 80 older, I want to be that 80-year-old that's like jogging down the street and everybody's like, oh my God, like, that's my plan. It could totally fail and my body could like fail on me, but that is my goal. To be the 80-year-old that can just jog down the street and everybody's like, what is she on? Mildred says, you're truly a brave young lady. I would love to be as free as you. Show the good. Yeah. Oh, free as you. You show the good and the ugly. That's what I love about you. You don't try to sugarcoat it. So stay safe, and truly you are living. Thank you so much. That is so sweet. Heartstring says, Dawn looks great. Weight keeps coming off, and you seem so much more at peace and happier. Thank you so much. Freedom Dove confirms that her dimensions are smaller than a standard cot. As long as you're comfortable in it, you know, that's all that matters. Like, I wasn't, like, going from sleeping in a driver's seat to actually being able to sleep in something that resembled a bed in the minivan just felt great. And I was comfortable in it. Also, like, I know why some people don't like loft beds, and it's not climbing up to them, is that, especially even in like Class C's where they have the cab over bed, is that some people feel very claustrophobic in small spaces. And I am like the opposite. Mickey, what are you doing back there? Just getting into stuff. I am the opposite in that I'm actually comforted by small spaces. So like when I'm bundled up in a sleeping bag, that's actually very comfortable for me as far as and like instead of restricting. So I have like that opposite reaction to like those things actually make me feel more comfortable than like, you know, the opposite. I don't know, but I don't even know what tangent I was going on, but that's about loft beds. I'm going to look back at this and say, Dawn, you lost your thought. I totally did. I don't know what I was talking about. Oh, I think it was the standard cot thing. Like, you know, as long as you're comfortable is all that matters. And I've never had a problem with small spaces, even though I am a big girl. Like, I hate to relate it to this, but in middle school and high school, and please, let's not turn this into a sad thing. I'm an adult. I'm over it. It's fine. But when I was in school, when I did try to avoid like being bullied or picked on, I would hide in small spaces. So small spaces were like safe spaces for me. So they never felt like trapped or constricting. It was more like, okay, I'm safe now type of things. So yeah. And like I said, it's not a sad, I'm an adult. I'm over it, but I think, you know, as a child, I began to associate, or maybe it was just born in me. I have absolutely no idea, but I feel like when I was younger, I developed an association of small spaces being comfortable as opposed to restricting, or safe as opposed to unsafe. So I really don't have that reaction to being in small spaces. I have like the opposite reaction of like, oh, okay, now I'm safe and cozy and comfortable. So yeah. James says, Franklin says, hello, Dawn. I hope you checked out the book. I'm sorry, I don't know what book. Otherwise, how are you? I'm good. Freedom Dove, do what you gotta do for your kiddo. Journey 50 says, Dawn, if you have already answered this, but is your bed over the cab of the box truck? No, because I was unable to get a box truck that had that cab over section. So my box starts directly behind the cab, but I still I felt like I wanted that loft bed. So it's just as soon as you come out here, you can see that's the bottom of the bed. So the bed is just the first thing you hit when you walk through this door. So you sort of have to crouch until you're free of the bed, and then you can stand up. Princess Pamela says it would be cool to do a meetup before you leave the Bay Area. Yes, it would. And I am going to think about that. Lisa says, I always enjoy your honesty and smile. Thank you. Keep on keeping on. Thank you so much. Nancy says, I just got here. When did it start? Am I really late? I've been on for about 40 minutes. I don't know how long ago you left this message. It's 8:06. Okay. Coralie says, that's an awesome plan to be like that at 80. I hope for the same. You got to make it happen. Put all your energy into it. Jody says 80-year-old goal is hilarious. Risa says I want to be that 80-year-old too. ESP and me, welcome to the chat. Theresa is reminding everybody that if you can take a second and throw a like on this live stream, the algorithm will like it, and I will be, gaining favor with the algorithm. Earl says, have you heard anything about your generator you sent in for repair? So, Home Depot told me to come pick it up. They weren't that rude. They went through their process and they said, really, we do not service this company. And so I went to pick up my still non-working generator, which is currently sitting in my storage unit. So now I need to call Baja back, and I just haven't had time. So I need to call them back, let them know, like, I did what they said, and Home Depot says, this isn't, they're not a middleman in this situation, and see what happens next. But right now I just have a non-working generator sitting in the storage unit, and we'll see what happens. I have receipt proof that I took it into Home Depot. I don't feel like sitting on the phone again to connect. Like my energy needs to be elsewhere, so I just need to wrap my head around making a phone call back to them about that generator. But Home Depot did call me like a couple days ago maybe, and they were like, your generator's ready for pickup, but they didn't tell me if it was fixed or not, or replaced or not. So they didn't explain it to me till I actually got to the store, and it is what it is. Like, at least I'm glad I went ahead and just bought a replacement generator. So even if this one gets replaced down the line, I'll either give it away or sell it. I'll probably just give it away because I'm terrible. I'm not really a good money earner. Like, I don't like selling. Maybe that's why I've been poor all my life. I just don't value money enough. Like, I value it in that I recognize I need to work and earn enough to survive, but I'm not trying to make a penny on everything I can. It's like I recognize the need for money when I need to accept that I need to be paid for work. I'm getting a little bit better at expecting to be paid properly for my work, but I'm just not as like some people, you offer them money and that's all they need for motivation. And so they're really good at selling and wheeling and dealing and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with that skill. I appreciate, I sometimes need those people to be my middlemen. So I appreciate it. So I'd probably give it away before I try to sell it. Or I just have it as a backup, like one of those things, if it gets replaced. And if it doesn't get replaced, at least I went ahead and I bought a better generator, which has performed amazingly. And as hesitant as I was to get a gas generator, honestly, because I live full-time off-grid, I don't really have a friend's house I plug into. I use it enough that the situations I was worried about, which was having this gas can where gas is not being used and just sitting to the side and not using it that often and having to remember to put it in my gas tank if I'm not going to use it in the generator, that really hasn't happened. I have a little 2-gallon gas container, and the generator I think holds a gallon of gas or something like that. Both of those things fit into the box together, the big generator box. And if I don't have any other source, usually about every 3 days or so, I would just pull out the generator, make sure everything gets a max charge, and then usually I can get through another 3 days or so. And so there's not this situation that I was worried about where I had this gas can that wasn't being used a lot that needs to be maintained. I use it frequently enough that that's not really a thing. And the maintenance on it, because you have to run it, you have to do that break-in period and change the oil, and I was really afraid of that for stupid reasons. It's okay, but I kind of got over that with the propane generator because that it had to have oil changes too, and so none of it has been as hard or as complicated. It's only been a positive to have it. I have to go to the gas station anyway if I need to throw some gas in the gas can so I can have it for the generator. I usually put it in there, and like I said, I'm going to use it fairly frequently. So this problem I was worried about and created in my head didn't actually exist. It's not a big deal that it's not sharing gas with the truck. It's, gas is already expensive in California. Like an extra like $4 to $8 to throw into the gas can when I'm getting gas anyway isn't that big of a deal. And like it's only been a positive to have it. So I'm not too upset about it. I just wish, I just not wasted time with the Baja generator. It's been more trouble than it's worth. Let's move on. Probably the chat has gotten crazy since I've been running my mouth. Sherry Herbert Oliver says, no, you don't want to tow a trailer. We have and lost it, but now I know we don't want to tow again. Probably a Super C. That sounds reasonable, and pull a small car. I miss being able to go camping when we want to. I understand. Yeah, I think if I'd always want just an all-in-one. I think the only secondary vehicle I'd ever want was probably an e-bike. Because that would be cool to have for cities especially. Because you could park far enough away that your larger vehicle could park, and then you could get on the e-bike and like do things, and you can even have like one of those little trailers. So that's like, that would be my ideal situation. I don't think I'd even want to tow a car. If there were two of me, like if I was a couple, I would even be like, can we just drive separately? You drive the car, I'll drive the RV, and then we'll have both when we get to our destination, but nobody has to tow anything. Like, I just wouldn't want to tow anything. Nancy, thank you for the $5 super sticker. What does it say? Critical hit. Thank you so much. Risa Former said, Forrester, why does that say Former? I like small spaces too. I just feel cozy. FDM215 says, yes, claustrophilia is the opposite of claustrophobia. That must be what I have. Nomadic Sporadic says, what's up, Nomadic Sporadic? Hey, Dawn, love your new rig. Stay safe. Thank you so much. Nancy McIntyre says, I just came back from a camping trip. Awesome. I hope you enjoyed it. Shasha says, will you get plants? I would only get fake plants for decorative purposes, but right now there's no plans for them. I'm good at taking care of the cat. I am not good with plants. I'm just not good. I have no green thumb. My mom had a green thumb. I'm like the opposite. Well, James Franklin says, I gave you the info on the book in the very next video you dropped. When I first told you the book was at the post office, however, I'll give you the info in your next video for sure. I'm confused, but okay. Is it something you mailed? Because I definitely didn't have like a book when I went to check my mail last, and that was, I don't know, might have been like last week or something like that. Keith McKinney says, what is the interior height of your box truck? It's like 7 foot and some change. I can't remember off the top of my head. I believe. But I might be lying. But I want to say that that's what it was. Because I'm trying to remember those stud walls we did back there. Yeah. Jim H says, did you let Baja know that you've got a YouTube channel with 21K subscribers? I did not. Julie Bryant says, can you sit up in your bed? A little bit. My head will hit the ceiling, but I don't really need to sit in bed. My priority was being able to stand up out of bed and have as much floor space as possible. So I really don't care about sitting up in bed. It's not a priority for this. I technically can sit up-ish. Is it a comfortable place to sit for an extended amount of time? No. Judy Patel says, you're doing a great job. I have loved following your story. Thank you so much. Coralie says, can relate to the money thing. I'm trying to declutter, but selling on Facebook Marketplace is such a PITA. I'll probably end up giving a lot away when I could make money. Yes, I'm the exact same way. Like, if something is really valuable, like I sold my folding bike on Facebook Marketplace a while ago because I decided to just go ahead and get a standard bike, and I got the standard bike because it fits on the bike trainer. And honestly, I use the standard bike way more than I use the folding bike. Like, the concept around the folding bike was good, but the execution was terrible. But I did end up selling it on Facebook Marketplace because I'm like, okay, this has some monetary value. I just can't like donate it or give it away or anything like that. And they still talked me down. And honestly, like I said, on the Facebook message, I was like, no, I'm not going to sell it for any less than this price. Because it was practically brand new. And when they got there, they only bought the price amount that they offered, and because they were there and I was just ready to be done with it, I just took it. I was just like, fine, just give me that amount. Like, I don't care anymore. Just take it. So yeah, I'm the same way. Rosemary said, I hope Home Depot gave you back your $30 deposit. I didn't check, come to think of it. I was so frustrated about the situation at that point, I did not check. Jean Dumford is confirming that I should mention my YouTube following. Jody McFarland says, Dawn, test ride mine before you buy one. It's a great idea. I'm assuming you're talking about an e-bike. I would not buy an e-bike in the near future because I need some way to carry it. And right now I don't have that, but it is something I've thought about. I'd love to test ride one because I know like there's different kinds. There's some that are like borderline motorcycles, and then there's some where it's like partially human powered, but the e-bike motor, it's getting dark, man. The e-bike motor gives you like that extra like push. So yeah. Freedom Dove says, I'm back, brought dinner out here to cook on my electric burner. Oh, that's so sweet. Freedom Dove says, I don't want to tow anything either. I have a towing package, but it won't be used. It's nice to have it, like, because even if you have to help somebody move in the future, like, you could, like, get one of those little tow trailers from, like, U-Haul. So, like, it's always nice to be able to tow if you need to, but I would only ever want to do it, like, in a temporary situation. Like, we're going to move from point A to point B, and then we're returning this trailer. Like, I would never want to tow anything, like, beyond that capacity. Extravagant Minimalist said, Dawn, would you ever consider doing a caravan trip? I don't know. Honestly, I don't mind meeting people places, but I don't know how caravan trips work, and if I have to follow people or they have to follow me or we have to stay within some degree of each other while we're traveling. Like, I like the idea of traveling at my own pace, and when I'm worried about keeping up with people, it can be actually more stressful. Whereas, like, okay, we're gonna meet at this place all together, and we can get there at our own pace, and then, like, we get out of, you know, all of our rigs are in this place, and then at some point we depart. Like, that's fine for me, but, like, it would stress me out having to keep up with somebody or feeling too slow, because I do not travel fast. There are people who are like, I want to, like, just get there and go, and I'm like, after about an hour and a half to 2 hours max, I'm sick of driving and I'm going to stop. Especially because I don't have cruise control anymore. And I know there's aftermarket cruise control, but again, not a financial priority right now. But yeah, that's my whole thing. Like I don't know what caravanning involves. I don't mind like meeting up with people at a destination and then departing at some point. But if it's a thing where we're like literally trying to travel together and keep our vehicles within the same range of each other, I can find that more stressful than helpful, because I'll feel like I'm slowing people down if I want to go slower. If I'm not sure where I'm going, I'm afraid of losing sight of them. Like, it gets way more stressful than like, here's the destination, we're going to meet there, and we can all just get there in our own time. So that would only be the only caveat for me, and that's just my stupid anxiety. It makes no sense. It's just like who I am. Coralie says, I managed to kill cactuses. When I eventually get a van, definitely having fake plants, LOL. I would try a cactus, because I might be able to keep a cactus alive. Like, there's this much of a chance. So, related story, I was pet sitting for this woman. It was a pit bull. He was such a sweetheart, loved people, hated other dogs. But loved people, like the cuddliest dog, as long as like there were no other dogs around. But he was actually had to walk him with a muzzle, and I felt really bad for him. And it was because his previous owner, not the woman I was pet sitting for, unfortunately had fought him. And the only way this woman could keep her dog was to, agree in court that I don't know how this worked out, but like she was able to save him by always walking him with a muzzle. But anyway, long story short, while I was pet sitting for this dog, I also had to water her plants. And I was so afraid. I wasn't worried about the dog or keeping the dog alive. I wasn't even worried about putting on the dog's muzzle and walking him. I was scared to death that her plants were going to be dead when she got back. The plants were fine. I watered them at the designated intervals. But I wasn't worried about the dog or keeping control of the dog even. But I was afraid to death her plants were going to be dead by the time that she came back, and they were fine. So I didn't kill them. Cat Blue says, you ought to tell Bob you'll review his next e-bike test. I think he'll just give the tester the e-bike. Ooh, that's an idea. Freedom Dove says, I won't be able to stand up in my rig nor sit up all the way in my bed. I'll have to get outside the rig to stand. It's a good motivation to go outside. Gene Dumford says, I'd ask Home Depot to call Baja and explain to them. Yeah, like, anything where I like have to depend on third parties to communicate, I think I'll just end up with a dead generator sitting in my, I have receipt evidence. I can be like, you can call them and see evidence that I took it in and followed your instructions. So we'll see what happens, one way or the other. Oh, wait, James Franklin. I think the battery book. Okay, now it's coming back to me. I didn't know what book you were talking about. Want to pronounce your name properly? Ayn, A-Y-N, Ravenel? Do you travel around the country? I have traveled across the country, and I've gone miscellaneous places. I don't have money to go burning across the country constantly, but when I can go, I do go. I've been to Colorado, I've been to Utah, I've drove through a bunch of states. I got a speeding ticket in New Mexico. which is funny because I don't speed, so I don't normally get speeding tickets. I drove during COVID. I actually crossed the country. I went back home to my home state of Maryland, and then I came back to my current home state of California. So yes, I do travel. Do I constantly travel? No. Sometimes I have to stop because of money. I do work contract jobs, so sometimes I'm where my job is. So I travel when I can travel. When I can, I don't. And I live in a vehicle all the time, no matter what. There's this image of van life as constant travel, and it's just that you live in a van or vehicle of some type. It isn't necessarily constant travel. It's the ability to travel when you want to. Pretty much. And sometimes traveling, like, doesn't have to be a huge thing. Like, people sometimes feel like it doesn't count. Like, so many people have not been outside their own city or county. And sometimes just going over into, like, the next county, you're like, wow, I didn't know this was here. This place is cool. like, wow, I wish one county over. And the good thing about living in a van, like, even if you're short on money, you're now in this new place where you can just, if you can find a place where you're not going to get kicked out, you can just hang out for a bit till you want to go to another place. And it doesn't have to be far away. Like, it doesn't have to be this traveling across the country, checking off check marks on a map, because usually if you go to a state, there's a lot to a state. Like, I want to go back. Utah was freaking beautiful. I could spend a month in Utah and I probably would not see everything I want to see. Colorado was beautiful. I could probably spend 3 months in Colorado. Not only will I have not seen most of the state, I probably will have not seen anything I want to see. I've never been to Florida. I want to go to Florida. I wanted to go while I was on the East Coast, and it just didn't happen because I needed to get back to California. But it's like, I've never been to Florida. There's a lot of Florida. There's a lot of beautiful things in Florida. It's not like, I'll go to one city in Florida, check it off. I did Florida. No, you didn't. There's a whole state. So, like, I don't know. I think, like, the value of travel sometimes get convoluted, that it has to be big. It has to be about, like, darting across the country and back and forth as fast as you can. And one of the reasons I got when I got the box truck, I knew I was going to be traveling slow, and I want to go places and stay. It's not about, like, jumping from state to state as quickly as I can do it. It's more about having comfortable amenities when I do settle down in a place for a while and take time to enjoy it. But I'm building that right now, and until I wrap up the storage unit, I ain't going nowhere. I gotta wrap up the storage unit, not have it anymore, and be able to literally move on with, like, no ties to this area, which is beautiful, but time to go. I've seen too much of this area. Princess Pamela says, I'm saving to put a high top on my van. Excellent. High tops are not cheap. So, yeah. All right, I've been on a little bit over an hour, and I try to keep these down to an hour. Also, it's getting pretty dark out, and so people are going to see me, like, my house glowing in the dark, and I'm hoping I can stay here tonight. It's a nice, quiet street. I'm actually going to close this door just so... I'm going to leave it open enough that Mickey can get in, but that's about it. Not wide enough for Mickey. Hi, Mickey. I'm not gonna lock you in there. I just want to draw less attention. Okay. So whoa, sorry. It's like, obviously camera's terrible now because the sun went down. So I'm going to scan a little bit just to wrap things up. I also haven't had dinner yet, so once I wrap this up, I'm gonna eat some dinner. Ramona, I'm glad you are catching me live too. Toyota Siennas are amazing. If I ever got a minivan for, like, casual camping and I had somewhere to park this, I would get a Toyota Sienna again. Like Toyota, I would get a lift kit on it too. I would get a newer Toyota Sienna, and I would get, because there are lift kits for them, and I would get a lift kit on it because I freaking loved my Sienna. It was so great. Terry Short says, I'm the same way. I just like to meet people at the destination. Freedom Dove also says, I can do a meetup, but I also can't do a caravan. I take back roads for one thing, whereas most people use interstates. There you go. That's what I'm saying. I'd rather like, let's set a destination and let's all meet there. I wouldn't want to like have to like follow behind or like, you know, travel along the road together. Gene Dumford says, true, Dawn, caravan driving is high risk. Insurance co-stats. Okay, do not follow or keep up. Pick the next spot to meet by the next date and wait for all once there. See, I could do caravanning that way. Where it's like, okay, we're going to meet at this spot, you know, and then like we meet up there together. Or even if we're like, okay, you know, we're going to get from here, if it's a long trip, we're going to go from here to, you know, this truck stop. And we all get to that truck stop at our own place. Awesome. Freedom Dove says cactuses are hard to keep, actually. God dang it, Freedom Dove. I thought maybe if I got a cactus, I wouldn't kill it. Hane says, you sound like me. I raid my house and everything I want to park for if it's going out fast. No time to think of selling stuff. That is not fast. Exactly. Selling stuff is too slow. You have to wait on people who are interested. They want to have these involved conversations. I'm like, I'd rather just, I have it. If you want it, take it. If not, it's going somewhere because I don't want it anymore. Granny Peacock says plants don't remind you they need feeding. Exactly. The dog is going to tell me when he's hungry. The cat's going to tell me when he's hungry. Isis1 says good night. Good night to you. Oh, I'm a loss. Thank you for the 1999 super chat. Kelly B says, yes, sometimes I feel like van lifers focus on moving to the next destination, not fully explore the area they are in. Exactly. Like, I had so much fun in Denver. Like, I went out camping in Colorado, but I also hung out in Denver for a couple of weeks, and I just slept by, like, public parks, and it was great. Just to hang around the city in a city I wasn't used to. Freedom Dove says, I'm too much of a slowpoke for a caravan, LOL. Yeah, I'm the same way. Succulents are easy. Okay. I don't trust me with anything. All right. Lisa says, laugh my ass off. You were more worried about the plants? Yeah. I was so afraid I was going to kill those plants. And I think she wouldn't have got mad at me. But I was like, I wasn't worried about the dog. The plants, I was like, I might kill them. Please be alive when she comes back, please. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. Thank you for the good chat. I was actually feeling really stressed, and I'm glad I did this live, even though it was later than I wanted to do it. Because I was feeling really stressed and like not where I wanted to be, and it was kind of good to get on here and laugh and chat with you guys and all that other stuff. You guys are great. This is a great community. And I actually look forward to these weekly lives now. So I will see you all. Good night. Good night to you, your partners, your kids, your plants, your animals. Have a good night.